annual Charleston Jazz Festival will happen this April here in Charleston and North Charleston. Today, I talk one-on-one with Brent Swaney of Charleston Jazz about this festival for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Brent Swaney, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
How are you today, Quintin? Good to be here.
I'm doing great. Glad to hear that. You are the director of performances for the Charleston Jazz Initiative, and I know that you all are really gearing up for the 8th annual Charleston Jazz Festival, which will be held on April 20th through April 23rd of this year. So let me ask you, what's new, what's now with the Charleston Jazz Festival?
Well, this is going to be the 8th year of Charleston Jazz doing the Charleston Jazz Festival, and it's going to be a rousing, great time where people will be coming from all over the world to perform for us. We've got headliners such as Diane Reeves, Samara Joy, who recently won 2 Grammy Awards just a couple months ago, international superstars Big Bad Voodoo Daddy, and Cindy Blackman Santana, who's an incredible drummer who's played with Lenny Kravitz, and she's currently the drummer and wife of Carlos Santana. And then our big finale is going to be Charlton Singleton and his jazz Beehive Orchestra.
Yes, indeed. So going back to 8 years ago to right now, what is the biggest difference about this festival?
Well, the biggest difference is that we have 3 different venues. Our first venue is going to be Forte Jazz Lounge, which kicks off the festival on Thursday, April 20th, and that's going to feature 3 local artists. And then on Friday, we move to the Charleston Music Hall. We do Friday and Saturday there, and then on Sunday, we move to Firefly Distillery. So we're covering all the several different areas of our Charleston area. And so that's one big difference. We have 8 performing groups, which also we've never done before as well.
Wow. So you have 8 performing groups. So how many artists do you have in total?
Well, let's see. I think we have about Big Bad Voodoo Daddy has 9 people in their band alone. So I think we're about 50 musicians total with all the groups.
With all the groups. So how do you all go about vetting this process to make sure that you get the right artists for the festival?
Well, that is a challenge. We look and see, who are the ones making waves, who are the ones that have been the stalwarts of jazz, been doing it for years and years and years, who are the ones that have proven themselves time and time again that they just deliver a great performance, and then who are the new up-and-comers, the young ones, the young guns, the ones that everybody's passing the baton on to. And so we want to give everybody a chance to perform. We also want to feature a lot of the great local talent that Charleston has to offer.
So where is that local talent right now?
Where is that talent? Well, that talent comes from one of our artists, Stay La Vie. She's from Goose Creek, and she's going to be rounding out our Thursday night at Forte Jazz Lounge at 9 o'clock. By the way, you can buy tickets to her show and all the shows by going to charlestonjazz.com. She's from Goose Creek. Charlton Singleton is from Beehive, South Carolina, which is around the Allendale area. Oscar Rivers, which is the patriarch of jazz, he's also going to be performing. He's been around the Charleston jazz scene for 50 years or so. So it's going to be remarkable to show all this great talent for everybody coming to town to see our festival.
And as on a personal side note, Oscar Rivers was my music teacher at Sanders Clyde back in 95 and 96. So he's a great legend.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah,
he's
guy.
going to be doing a show at 7:30 at Forte Jazz Lounge with his quartet. It's going to be fantastic. You won't want to miss that.
That's right. I'm sitting just blocks away from the Forte Jazz Lounge and the Music Farm here in Charleston. But let me ask you, because you mentioned this just a few seconds ago, but tickets, how many early tickets have you all sold thus far?
Well, we've sold a lot of tickets. In fact, the Samara Joy show is sold out.
Wow.
Sold out. And then Diane Reeves Diane Reeves and Big Bad Voodoo Daddy are not far behind. How many tickets? Thousands we've sold already. So we're really excited. It's going to be a great time. 4 days of fun. And we encourage everybody to come on out. charlestonjazz.com is how you can get your tickets.
So prior to most of these shows being sold out, Brent, what was you all's goal as far as ticket sales?
Wow, the goal for ticket sales. Well, the goal is always be able to have as many people witness the festival as possible. If you can sell out one of the shows, great. But if you can just get everybody to witness all kinds of different jazz, that's our main goal. Is to give the young people exposure, give the stalwarts of jazz their due, and so that's why we don't have to have sold out houses, but if we're gonna have them, we sure are welcome to have those. That's for sure.
And you talk about all types of jazz. So what is the state of jazz as you see it right now?
The state of jazz is that so much I mean, almost anything goes with jazz. Anything where you can personally express and have a musical conversation on stage with your fellow musicians. That's what jazz is. Jazz is that instant, spontaneous creation of the music. As long as it's swinging, and what I mean by swinging, as long as the people are communicating with each other and getting the message across, that's jazz.
What is that musical conversation about jazz?
What is the conversation? Well, the conversation can be about a lot of different things. Sometimes the conversation can start this way, goes on this track, and then another musician will say something, and then it kind of goes that way. Then it kind of can turn this way.
Yes.
And, by the end, you have this beautiful story that everybody's been able to pitch in and give their point of view. It's about everyone's point of view.
What is the point of view when it comes to the Charleston Jazz Festival?
The point of view of the Charleston Jazz Festival, I would say the point of view is that we want to embrace the rich heritage of jazz of the Low Country. And we are one of the founders of jazz. It is New Orleans, but it's also Charleston. And the point of view of our festival is that we want to show everybody that comes to Charleston what we have to offer, what the talent is that we have here, and we want to express ourselves the best way we can. That's our point of view of the Charleston Jazz Festival.
And you talked, Brent, about the talent. So what musical artists are you looking at from a trending standpoint?
What do we are? Well, first and foremost, Samara Joy definitely is trending. She started out as a TikTok performer a few years ago, and fast forward a couple of years, and now she has 2 Grammys for Best New Artist and Best Jazz Vocal Album. She's definitely trending for sure, I would say.
And when you think about jazz music here in Charleston, what else is trending that you all are looking at right now as well?
Well, as far as it's that conglomeration of different styles. We had the wonderful Ranky Tanky just a few years ago, and we know how incredible they merge their different styles between the gullah and the jazz and the gospel. So that's definitely a trend that's happening. You're going to see some of that with Stay La Vie and the Tribe. And their show is 9 p.m. on Thursday, April 20th at the Forte Jazz Lounge. You've also got a mix of different kinds of music. The very first show we have of the Jazz Festival is going to be by a wonderful trumpet player named Matt White. And he also is a wonderful composer, and he's going to fuse country music with jazz. He's going to take the music of Dolly Parton, and he's going to mix it with jazz and the Low Country, and make this beautiful mix at the end. And so that's where I see the trends going. It's taking different avenues of different kind of musics and funneling them all into your own self-expression.
What avenue is the Charleston Jazz Initiative taking?
Well, Charleston Jazz. The Charleston Jazz is working with Charleston Jazz Initiative to preserve a lot of our legacy, and so we're taking a lot of what has happened before, and we're putting it into different locations so people can research and check out the archival of what Charleston has to offer as far as its music and where it's come from. So we're taking the past, we're mixing it with the present, and we're creating the future.
Wow. And what else do you want to create with that future?
We want to create the next young musicians. We have the Charleston Jazz Academy, which is in North Charleston. We offer scholarships for a lot of students in the area, for many students receiving full-time scholarships with the Jazz Academy. And so we want to take these youth, and we want to create the next Charlton Singletons, the next Quintin Baxters,
yes,
the next Robert Lewises. And so we want to. That's our goal, is to create the next generation of music and pass that baton on for them to carry their music on throughout the world.
And speaking of the world, where else is jazz being heard right now that it wasn't heard before?
Where else is jazz being heard? Well, it's always been heard in TV. It's always been heard in movies. You're hearing it. You're hearing it just on the streets sometimes. You'll be just walking around King Street, and you'll hear musicians playing. You'll hear jazz everywhere you go. I mean, every public place you see, because it's about self-expression, and every time someone gets a chance to express themselves, and they're doing it in that conversational jazz style, that's where you can hear jazz. That's where you can experience it.
And it just reminds me of Nashville, where I was just a couple of weeks ago for some work and whatnot. I love that city immensely. But let me ask you, when it comes to the 4-day festival, what infrastructure do you all have in place to carry this on for 5 days or even, a week?
Well, that's a good question. We have a great team of volunteers that help us put the festival together. We also have a great core group of arts management majors from the College of Charleston I have a team of young folks that help me do everything from organizing the transportation of the artists. We also book all of their entertainment they do while they're here. We take care of the ticket sales ourselves. It's just it's actually it's a group effort, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed, and I know that obviously the annual festival, as you mentioned, will draw fans from around the world for a 4 day celebration of the city's rich jazz heritage and thriving music scene. It's April 21st to 24th at various locations that you just mentioned. So, how many people are expected to attend over the next 10 years?
Wow, how many people in the next 10 years? Well, we definitely anticipate on growing and growing and growing. The Charleston Music Hall can hold about 950 people. So if you do that for 4 of the shows, well, then there's thousands right there. We're going to have at least 500 people out of the Firefly Distillery outdoors. And our festival, by the way, is April 20th through the 23rd. It's Thursday through Sunday. And you're going to get, I don't know, as long as it grows and grows and grows. We've had people buying tickets from Germany, from France, from Italy. I mean, people are traveling from all over the world to see these our jazz legends, because this is the place. Charleston is the place to go. This is the place to see, this immense talent that we're bringing for 4 days.
4 days. So, how does this festival keep up with the city's growth?
Well, that's how does it keep up with the city's growth? That's a great question. I think that. Well, one thing that we're doing is the finale is in North Charleston, so it's just a few miles away. It's just 10 miles away. So one thing that we are doing is we're kind of branching out a little bit, putting some of it downtown, some of it in North Charleston. If we have to dip into Mount Pleasant, we can do that. So I would say that we're definitely, Charleston, as you know, is the place that everybody is coming to. So we just expect that the Charleston Jazz Festival will grow and grow and grow, and we'll see where it takes us.
So, what has been that new growth for your festival?
The new growth for the festival has been, we moved it from January to April. And I think when you move it to a month where we get a lot of those tourists that are already in town and they see our banners all around, they want to become involved. So I think growing it that way, by putting it during the time of year where you've got a lot of tourists that are in town, the weather's beautiful, everyone's walking around, everyone wants to experience it. I think that and as we develop more into the social media age, we'll be able to advertise our program throughout the world. So it's no talent, and there's no stopping us now. It's gonna be fantastic.
Fantastic. So, and this is a redundant question, Brent, but let me ask you: how do you keep the core of the festival consistent?
Well, to keep the core of the festival consistent, we look at our past years, and we take on what we did and what really worked. We think about the things that maybe didn't work so well. We just keep building on that. And I think right now we have a wonderful model where we're exposing the city to a lot of the great local talent that we have here. We feature a lot of the young major artists like the Samara Joy and then we feature the homegrown talent, the Charlton Singletons, of Charleston, and that's how we do it. We cover a wide range of artists and talent, and it's going to be something. Recommend everybody go get your tickets before they're all gone. CharlestonJazz.com.
So, what will be your process for recruiting this type of talent in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, to recruit the talent, we also participate in other festivals that go on. There's also events that do happen throughout the year. We offer, like I said, the Charleston Jazz Academy. We also do a partnership with the Gibbs Museum, where we give jazz composers a chance to do programs based on the artwork at the museum. We also play at different parks, Hampton Park,
Yes.
Moja Festival. We just did a great show at the Moja Festival last September. That's kind of what we're doing with our mission. We're kind of putting jazz everywhere we can throughout the area.
And what will jazz be like here in Charleston in the next 5 years with all these people moving here, and most of those artists are changing their style all the time?
Right. Well, where will jazz be in 5 years? As long as people keep talking to each other and keep that conversation going, I can imagine that it's just going to be a huge explosion of creativity. It's no talent in the way that technology is. I mean, everybody's able to record themselves and produce their own recordings and put it out on video. It's just, if you could have told me 5 years ago where it is now, It would be very, hard pressed to believe that it's just, jazz is really taken off. And like I said, it's all about the self expression. Everybody wants their voice heard, and everybody come on for the ride.
Oh, absolutely. So, what should that be conversation be like for the Charleston Jazz Festival in the next 5 years?
The conversation, what should it be for the next 5 years? You know, I mean, you can say so much with just instrumental music. You don't have to have necessarily a singer saying these words. As long as people are creating their own unique sounds and speaking their voices on their instrument, so to speak. Yeah, I think jazz could change the world. It really could, because it is the language that everybody can understand. Even though not everybody speaks the same languages around the world, everybody speaks that commonality of beautiful sounds and beautiful conversation with your instruments. It really is a universal language, and we can solve so many. We could solve anything we wanted to with this music.
Yes, indeed, absolutely. So, what does jazz mean to you?
What does jazz mean to me? Jazz means the ability to listen to others and then relay how I feel about or what my outlook is on something, and be able to share and then grow that relationship with other people, and that through conversation and music. That's what jazz means to me.
That's amazing. And to recap, where can people go to find out more information about this festival?
For the Charleston Jazz Festival, you can go to charlestonjazz.com, and you can learn all about all the great programs we have, including the Charleston Jazz Academy, the Charleston Jazz Orchestra, our different outreach programs that we have with different schools that we do throughout the year. The festival is April 20th to the 23rd. That's Thursday through Sunday at various locations throughout the city. charlestonjazz.com.
Well, that's amazing. Well, Brent Swaney with the Charleston Jazz, thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you.
You're welcome.